Hello everyone. In this video, as the title suggests, I will share my experiences about Upwork, our popular platform for freelancers. I'm going to share 5 important tips. First, I want to talk about why I'm shooting this video here. Right now, I'm camping next to the Bolu Ada Pond. One of the most important aspects of freelancing for me is location independence. I'm not on vacation or leave right now. I didn't need to notify any institution or person when I came here. Just came with my computer, my internet. I can work as I want, where I want, when I want. This doesn't cause me to work less or earn less. In fact, I'll probably work more and earn more in this way. The main benefit I see here is a more free and enjoyable life. We could talk about the main benefits of freelancing for longer periods. We can talk about the very wealthy ones. But I actually want to leave this topic to another video and want to return to our main topic. Upwork is a platform that largely enables me to freelance. I registered on this platform in November 2020 and I started working about the same time with the same grains at a company. What I have done so far in Upwork, I did it in my spare time left over from working full time. Of course, the pandemic also had an effect. So we were in Atatürk's houses. I actually took advantage of this opportunity in Africa. In June 2021, I left the company I was working full-time and started working part-time there and giving consultations. Currently, I am providing software and AVS consulting to 6 different companies in 4 different countries. On June 7th, I became top-rated on Upwork. This November, it's been 7 months. During the period up to June 7th, even up to now, I paid attention to 5 important elements in the process until receiving the leaf, and I want to share what I did here. Let's not drag on the word and let's get started. In this video, I will explain the 5 tips I listed, not in order of importance, but chronologically. I will mention how important each item can be, but this is still doing what you have produced. It's not an obstacle for you to determine your own priority order. That's why by trying different things, you can reach the best yourself. Chronologically, your profile page comes first. Actually, when you bid for a job, first appearing, this is not your profile page. First, your proposal, in fact your offer, where the cover letter is located, appears. Therefore, the first thing that appears from the customer's perspective here will just be your profile picture. So it will be your name and your profile picture. Details about your other profile will appear later. When you bid on an ad in the fields, you can fill in. If your customer visits the profile page, what they see when they visit, there are actually a few pieces of data you can change here. Here we can say the title you gave to your profile. Just produce a few of these, the brief summary here. You can change these areas. The work history below has details like how much you earn and how many hours you work. Actually, the things that attract the most attention, but you can't directly change. So let's focus on what we can do first. Later we need to focus on the things we will move forward on the timeline. The things that we can change first here are, as I said, title, summary, and here is your profile picture. If possible, make your profile picture look professional. And if there is an opportunity that reflects your own work, of course, make sure it is with an outfit that reflects your own work. The profile picture already forces you to have a clear picture where your face is visible during identity verification, but yet it's up to you to be more professional. It would be good if you pay attention to this as well, because your profile picture is one of the first things that appear when you submit a proposal. The back of your profile is not visible, but when you bid with a proposal, these appear. I will also show examples related to these. For many of us, the search function is a tool that can hide simple but overlookable details. Using it correctly, it will add a lot to us, especially it will add speed. I will also talk about the importance of this speed. So now let's look at how we search and how we detail it. After logging in, when you click on the Upwork logo, it says My Feet. The screen comes up in front of you. This is your My Feed screen. An area created based on the skills and abilities you have entered. More accurately, a new ad area. But these proposals may not always match your skills exactly. So, for example, on my screen here is a restaurant. Relaunch Lego logo. It's not something to do with me. I don't actually do logo design, but Apple has put this for me in my action anyway. So, because of the possibility of being able to remove things that are not very relevant, I think you should use advanced search. It makes more sense. When we get bored with the advanced version, 6 different areas come to our attention. I need to explain these one by one. I use the 2 most important ones. One of them is the words I want to include. Here are a few example outputs I've made before. Let's look at my .NET ads. I develop mainly as a C# developer in C# and Python. Let's look at one of them, .NET. So what else is there in the other fields here? The first field is the search keyword that .NET definitely wants to include, or we can enter with a comma. We can enter these in the first field we enter. We want all the words we enter to be found in the object we are searching for, in the ads we are looking for. The second one, okay, when we enter any of these, it doesn't have to be all of them. If it contains at least one of them, it means it's relevant for us. Here we enter a phrase, that is, we enter a sentence. We want this sentence to be there completely. Fourth field, we remove some words. It's one of my most used areas. The reason could be net. With Xamarin or Unity, you can develop mobile applications with Xamarin and games with Unity, but I don't do either. So I've done this here before. Xamarin and Unity are for me. Actually, there are words that should not be there. I often come across with .NET, but since these are areas I'm not interested in, I am eliminating them. The latter 2 are, one is search a word in the title, the others, skills, abilities, and the word search. I don't use these much either. The first and fourth areas are what I use most, and what you will probably use most. When we press search, right now, there's 35, 64 nasty outputs. It's impossible to look at it from an object. This is to use the filters that appear on the left correctly. I think it will greatly improve and simplify our work. If we look at the fields here, the examples I will give now are for beginners or those who have previously earned $5,000, $10,000. The recommendations I provide here may not be suitable for you because how you use the recommendations or filters depends on you. Your experience on Upwork changes. I'll explain what I mean in each filter. The category, your category field will most likely narrow down the keyword category. I am not choosing this category in case the customer may have entered the wrong category. Customers generally prefer text over categories. I've passed him experience level. Usually new customers or customers who have had very little work done are not aware of what this means. That's why I generally prefer not to use the filters we see here. But if you really want to use this as a beginner, definitely don't just stick with the entry level, add intermediate, because there's a lot of work I got at the beginning from those who posted ads on internet editing. But as I always say, they don't enter correctly. If you really want to do something, if you want to make a filter, you can remove the expert, you can enter the other 2. But if I act like a beginner, I will not mark the end of work experience level. There is a job type. And about the job type, now when you first enter, people generally care about how you work, whether you enter the hours correctly or not. They can't be sure whether you will act fairly here, whether you will cheat here. Therefore, hourly jobs, getting job postings at first can be a bit tough. So I think you should target fixed price job posts at first. Among the fixed price ones, my advice is to start small. The reason for this is again in your profile, not having a review, no comments, no scores. When we think from the perspective of the workers, when we think a bit empathically here, an employer does not usually prefer someone who is just starting out or does not have any data on their profile. He can risk as much as $500, but he wouldn't want to risk much after 500 with such a profile, with a beginner profile. That's why in the beginning, start small, and actually focus on gathering reviews. I think it's more meaningful. The second reason is minor. 3 people are sorted out quickly, so you can get a lot of reviews quickly, a lot of 5 stars. That's why small budgets are actually beneficial to improve your profile, in my opinion. So, like I did in the beginning, less than $100 and $100 to $500. I'm marking we continue. Another area, how many applications were there in the future? Here, if you want to compete with your profile in an ad for beginners, your profile needs to be good. If your chances of appearing in an advertisement where too many bids are given and too many bids are received are very low, especially if you're not good, and you won't be good because you're just starting. I want to show that with an example. I am taking a page from here. When you post an ad, this how the ads actually appear on an ad page. So I have made a bid on an what does it look like here? As you can see, the only person here who outbid me is an Egyptian friend who gave $350 to a $5,000 ad. There's really not much chance of this getting much work anyway. So countries like Egypt, Pakistan, India, they've made it a tactic, which I think is a failed tactic, but I'll explain it anyway. You can apply it if you want. To high price listings, like listings of $5,000, they are giving incredibly low numbers first. Then of course as an employer you think, oh, that's very cheap, and you jump right in. But actually this person immediately he raises the price during the conversation, and while raising, most of the time, in fact, he is trying to go over the budget you give. So you say $5,000, he says I can make this $15,000, but the offer is actually $350. This is usually $350. He's using a tactic to appear at the top here. These countries, it returns as a loss. Actually, I don't want you to do this from Turkey because this is a loss. The proposal I gave, employers from Turkey think that if a proposal comes from Turkey, it must be like this. I start to not deal with them. I had a lot of customers complaining from countries like Egypt, Pakistan, India. They appear at the front because they do poor quality work or try to get ahead with such tactics. So my advice is, of course, you can change your price, but as far as you understand, give a reasonable price. I believe it will be beneficial for you when you start speaking from the employer's perspective. Apart from that, as you can see, my offer is at the top among other offers. The reasons are: 1, the second is the price, the second is the money I won before. My job success score is currently at 100% and not being top rate. Therefore, when you add these up, it was putting me on top of the cheapest offer, except for the one giving the cheapest. This $350 is not a big problem. I am just giving an example. For example, if he had given $3,000, he would probably go down. Here's an example. He gave $4,000, but because there's nothing in his profile, he appears below the person who gave $5,000. If it was crowded here, wasn't it? The applications of the beginners you believe in might not have been visible. There are only 6 here and only I am experienced. If we think that a lot of experienced people applied here, your application is unlikely to be seen. Therefore, I recommend you apply for postings with few applications. In the beginning, I usually prefer less than 5, and between 5 and 10. It can be 10, 15, optional. I was looking for these from 0 to 10 first. If I think I couldn't apply enough that day, it was also passing 10 to 15. Let's leave it between 0 and 10 for now. The next filter is about COVID. Almost no one fills this in properly, so my advice is to learn this if it is not directly related to your job. Another thing is client info, customer information. There are 2 areas. If one of my clients has posted an ad, I see it here. If one of my previous clients has posted an ad, I see it here. None of my clients have posted an ad right now. So the other one as well. People whose payments are approved. As you progress, that is, as your profile progresses, it becomes more important. But initially, you might not check this filter in order to take risks and improve your profile. As you can see, only 43 out of 456 ads. I mean, mostly, a large part is actually payment verified, about 120, bar around 110. At first you may not be able to give a sign, but if you want to stay on the safe side, you can also choose people who have confirmed payments. Let's continue to choose. From now on, did he work on Upwork? This is it's similar to what I just said. As your profile improves, you actually want your customer's profile to improve too. So why is this? For example, there are no reviews on the profile of someone who has never rented or employed anyone in Iran. So you don't know what kind of customer or employer the person is. If they're a bad person, if they're here to mess up the system, if they're here to misuse it, particularly if they've misused the review system, if someone came to use it for evil, they can criticize on your profile. How so? See, if such a person likely informs you that you will receive a review and you work for a review, you can try to get big jobs done with a small budget. By threatening with a review, or you can slowly do this by showing a stick to the bottom. So at the beginning, I took this risk. I tried to get jobs from people who had never posted a job, never hired anyone, and I did. But now I almost never do this. So I am directly marking between 1 and 10. Maybe in the future I will directly mark as 10. At the moment I am marking 0, 1, 9 and 10. You may not use this at first. Amazing. For client location, this is usually not very important for us. Not this is important for people who have a problem. I will leave this as it is, assuming that those who watch this video do not have a language problem. But if you think you have a language problem, you can flag it as Turkey. Another situation, the length and how many hours per week this requires. Since we marked hourly in job type just now, all is 0. These two parts, all is 0 because we did not mark hourly. It only happens in hourly jobs. So they are looking for an hourly employee, and the details or length of the project is not very clear. It's not clear in the detail of the ad, but to say approximately how much you will work, or we want an hourly and we want an area like less or more than 30 hours a week, but it is 0 in fixed prices. After these filters, we have 343 items left. There are 3 ads left. It was over 3,500 if I remember correctly. So it fell to 1 in 10. Actually, what concerns us is the number of advertisements it would be meaningful for us to apply. Now, so are we going to enter these filters every time? What are we going to do? As you can see in the upper right corner, there is a job save area. By entering a name here, you can save your ad and see it on the left side of your My Feed screen. But there is a better and more effective method. That's with RSS or Atom Field. When you come here and click inside this Wi-Fi, it gives you 2 verbs as RSS or Altam when you click inside the verb. These feeds are a structure that constantly shows you ads by entering the words here and choosing the filters here. When you click, a big complicated screen appears, but anyway, you would not use this directly. What you have to do here is to open a voice reader, copy the above URL there. I am using the feed. Let me show you right now. That's why I use Feedly. It has both mobile and web application. As you can see, I have feeds about Upwork. I seem to have 3 feeds. I follow these. The reason we use Feedly is that it is available on both mobile and web. Whenever I found time, especially in the beginning when I wanted to apply for fast advertisements, when I wanted to improve my profile, even if it is evening, some fast stuff, I was looking at the ads. Of course, because this always required being at the computer, having a mobile app was quite critical and nice for me. That's why I recommend the feed to you too. The free part is quite sufficient. I'm still using the free part. I have 3 feeds. I follow these constantly. If there is an ad, I try to apply for it immediately from mobile or web. What we need to do is to copy the URL here. After pressing the plus on the left, I guess it's here to paste here, it comes out below. After saying follow, it's added to the feed section on the left. You can go there and change its name again if you want. I would recommend you to quickly follow the settings you set in this advanced search, and it allows you to apply quickly. So what does quick application mean? I'll explain that now. Let's now look at the details of the quick application I mentioned in the previous section. What does quick application mean? I consider the application as quick application as soon as possible after an ad goes live. So why is this important? As I just mentioned in the section, customers see your ad, your offer among many offers. If your profile is new, if you have no score, it's hard for you to stand out here. You need to appear properly, appear in the top ranks. If the number of applications is high, it won't be that easy. If you apply as soon as an ad is first posted, the employer will see you faster, will see among fewer offers. Therefore, the probability of contacting you will increase even more. The second benefit is the customer might be online at the moment, so you usually post a job and stay online for a while. If there aren't enough applications, you might leave it for a while and return the next day from the employer's perspective. So when you apply quickly, your customer, you have a chance to catch it. So actually there is a chat right there. Chat, if you give positive responses in chat, if you make your sales properly there, actually the job will be closed without appearing to many people. This is critical for a newbie because they do not have a profile to compete with many people. Maybe you have the talent, maybe you have the experience, but even if you are a 20-year-old senior developer, if it shows 0 in your profile will be the main thing. Apple customers won't be able to see no or be certain about this. The main thing here is your profile on the web. So it's beneficial to act accordingly. Quick application is one of these tactics. You have created your search filter. As you can see, the search results came up immediately from these. Here is an ad that was published in a very short time. Within 4 or 5 hours, you should choose. For example, if he looked at the price here and asked if there is something he explained, these are evaluated and try to send a bid quickly. This is not really an advertisement for me, nor is it very explanatory. It's not clear what he wants, but he's got 5 stars so far. So we can continue as if we were sending an application. When you come to the application page, I choose one of my own profiles. I immediately look back at the job details. For example, she suggests a fixed price for this. I am giving a single price. I can translate it as a milestone. You can break down the job piece by piece. I say when it will finish, how much it will take, or you can give a single price indicating how long it will end. You can continue with your cover letter. Quick application definitely does not mean you neglect your cover letter or do not answer the questions there. Act as if they are not important. As I just mentioned, when you apply for an ad, your profile name and cover letter are among the applications. And if I can find a listing with questions at the top, I'll show you. The part of question and answer is separated for snakes that have questions. For example, as we see when we enter the details of this, the customer asks 5 different questions. We see this when we get into the details. If you apply with this ad, the first part he will see is not the customer's cover letter, but the answer to the first question. I'll tell the truth. Goodbye. Read the announcement, the details well. If you have a question, ask questions. Customers usually like this. It shows that you're interested and you've read. They sometimes provide incorrect information that you can correct this information politely. You answer in detail here. The first part he sees are these questions. Your cover letter appears in front of the client at the end. Let me show you that right away. This is the part you see when you bid on an ad. As I said, the questions in the cover letter first, accept later. Therefore, from now on, your profile. So what I mean is the first thing that appears, as I just explained, is your profile picture, then cover letters, and then the details in your profile. Therefore, it is critical to care about the cover letter and even the questions. Then comes your profile and your profile picture. Of course, your profile picture is the first thing that appears among the applications after the ads. So it would be nice if it is attention grabbing. It would be very nice to be professional. These are what I would say. So it's more about each ad in detail related to that ad. Applying, accepting, answering questions will be more critical. And our last topic is over delivery. We can translate it as don't give more than what is asked. Alright, what does this mean? Let's explain that again. Especially when you take a job, if it's not hourly but a fixed price job, here comes the customer focusing on the job you're going to do. So it focuses on the basic part of the job you're going to do. What do I mean? If you're going to make a program, I want to give details about the program. If you're going to make a design, I want to give details about the general lines of the design. He wants it from the readme in the program. Here's not getting into the details of the skates you're going to use or a design. It looks at what will be the radius of the round corner of the wheel. It doesn't tell how much this will be, like clothing. The point is you think about these, asking for details if necessary, and present to the customer with their alternatives if necessary. Yes, this scope may not be included in the advertisement. It mostly won't be. The customer might not exactly have such an expectation, but you stay at the same price. No matter how detailed, no matter how well you work, no matter how much customer-specific details you add to your project, it will return to you as nice comments. I generally do not operate with a readme and an article describing how a deployment is done in software projects. I am delivering. If my client sometimes there is someone who does not understand too much technical, does not understand at all, then maybe I deliver these steps by shooting a video, taking a screenshot, even explaining from the screen, adding to the project. The purpose here, actually I invest in my profile, so it may seem like I'm doing this job for free. The real goal here is to get long-term customers over a long time. Leave it to my profile, nice handwriting, like here. So it's a small job, but when another employer comes and reads the details here, it's an important and beautiful message for me. My purpose here is to bring myself in the future. Definitely don't think about how much time I'm going to spend on this $65 job and so on. These small investments, spending an extra 1 to 2 hours on a $65 job, will return to you as much bigger and much better jobs in the future. Definitely don't underestimate this, especially in the beginning. Invest in yourself, or rather your profile, as much as you can, and it will attract long-term customers. Or writing excess hours in short-term hourly jobs for your customers, or by tactics like selling a 5-penny job for 10 pennies, there is a very high chance of worsening your profile. So far, I don't even have a comment for $4.99. My whole goal was to collect these 5 stars, because as I collect these, I will get 5s. I'm going to hire more. I'll buy at a higher price. Actually, I am investing in myself. For example, I explained at the beginning of the video, I started in November. When I started in November, the hourly production was either 10 or 15. I don't exactly remember. Let's say 10. I aim for it to be 100 after 60 years. Actually, I do this not with small calculations, but with investments. We need to deal with good customers, long-term customers. I'm working. I became top rated. I'm also going to make a video with it, but let me tell you in advance. There's also something called Top Rated Plus. For that, you need to earn more than $10,000 from a customer. In order for someone to give you more than $10,000, there has to be a trust relationship between you and them. Otherwise, it's impossible for you to work together for a project that will reach $10,000. It provides a profile, as I said, to, here's what we call over-deliver, giving a bit more than what's asked for. Seeing from the customer's perspective and treating them better, more needs are being met. Of course, there is a limit to this. Just because someone gave $50 doesn't mean you have to do $5,000 work. Of course, it's important to set these limits with a professional conversation. But to throw a $50 job, thinking that the $50 part was this much, I won't do the rest, it will most likely damage your profile. And while you're struggling to make $50 into $100, you might lose $10,000. That's why it's not about small accounts. We're chasing long-term investments, and giving more than what's asked for is always critical. in my opinion. I also try to do this most of the time. I shared with you the 5 important factors that I pay attention to on Upwork. So if you were to ask me for a single piece of advice, I would say create value for your customers. You can apply this both on Upwork and in all other areas. Creating value here, in my opinion, is the critical point. I would definitely recommend this. I'll be preparing another video titled How to Honor the Leaf soon. If you found this video useful, please don't forget to like it. If you want to be informed about my other videos or if you want to support my channel, subscribing will make me very happy.